Don't get too mad, but take a moment and think about the teammate you get along with least, the group mate that you liked least for your last class project, or your least favorite coworker. Have you got them in your mind? What does that person say about your leadership style? Not literally. What can their characteristics tell us about your leadership approach? That's the question that's addressed in Fiedler's least preferred coworker contingency model. My name's Dr. Bailey Benedict, and today we're going to talk about the T of the contingency model. Fiedler's LPC model is an early attempt to quantify leadership style. It asks leaders to think about the person that they least liked working with and rate them across a series of traits. And surprisingly, how a leader describes that person reveals a lot about their leadership style. The model describes how the situation moderates the impact of a leader's LPC score on group performance. So it's a situational theory. A leader's tendency to be task-oriented or relationship-oriented is measured based on how the leader describes their least preferred coworker. If you rate them positively despite not liking them, you're probably more people-focused. If your ratings are harsh, you're likely more focused on task and performance. Fiedler emphasized that no style is universally better, and it's all about matching the leader's style to the situation. How the scale works is the leader rates their least preferred coworker on 18 to 25 bipolar adjective scales that range from 1 to 8. Pleasant, unpleasant, friendly, unfriendly, cooperative, uncooperative, supportive, hostile, interesting, boring, cheerful, gloomy, nice, nasty, and this information gives us insight about ourselves. A high least preferred coworker leader is a relationship-oriented leader. They value interpersonal harmony and try to maintain positive group relationships. A low least preferred coworker score is a task-oriented leader. Those leaders prioritize goals and performance and emphasize task completion. There is an alternate interpretation of the least preferred coworker model, and that is that it emphasizes leaders' values and not their motivation. A low least preferred coworker score leader values task achievement more than interpersonal relationships, and a high least preferred coworker score leader values the opposite. They value interpersonal relationships more than task achievement. And value priorities are assumed to reflect the amount of task or relationship associated behaviors that a leader engages in. So you're thinking, why is this a contingency theory? It's about matching the style to the situation, and that has to do with our situational favorability. Our situational favorability influences the relationship between a leader's least preferred coworker score and the group performance. And situational favorability is made up of 3 factors. One is leader-member relations. That's how good the relationship between the leader and the followers are, and that can range from poor to good. It's the task structure, which can be highly ambiguous. We're not really sure what we're doing and how we're doing it, to highly clear. And third, leader position power, which can be weak to strong. So how strong of a position this leader has. The situation is most favorable when the leader has substantial position power, the task is highly structured, and the relationship with the subordinates is good. The theory does not clearly identify mediating variables to explain how the leader's least preferred coworker and the situational favorability jointly determine group performance. What the theory does say, though, is low least preferred coworker leaders, so those that don't review their least preferred coworker very highly and are probably more task-oriented, are most effective when the situation is very unfavorable or very favorable. So you could see how being focused on the task is important when those elements of the situation are not going so well, or when they're going super duper well. The high least preferred coworker leaders who rate their least preferred coworker kind of highly, probably more relationship oriented, are most effective when the situational favorability is moderate. When they have a pretty good relationship with their followers, the task is pretty well structured, and they have leadership power, a high LPC leader will be most effective. The theory argues that we want to select the best behavior for the situation or change the situation to fit the leader's preferred behavior. And that's the way we'll maximize the effectiveness of our group's performance as a leader. Sorry there wasn't more drama and more tea, but I hope now you can see how the way we talk about and think about our least preferred coworker can tell us something about our own leadership style.